Hi, this is Snoop Dogg, and you're about to see the best sports and entertainment talk show on the internet with your host, Troy Geary. The man who seems to go to every sporting event, and Dave Stevens born without legs, but won 7 Emmys and played college football and minor league baseball. Throw in Will Stein wherever Will Stein is. And
No,
you
I
got a
remember
heck of
your
a
St.
show.
Paul
It's
State
the
story.
Geary Stein and Stevens
It's a
show.
good movie.
Faux shizzle.
Save the Second Chances on Netflix.
Yep. I think that's where I saw it. That's when
Well, welcome back to Radio Row. We got to do this quick because it's not very often that you get a couple of minutes with a baseball legend, one of my favorite pitchers of all time. And again, I could sit here for a half hour talking about the accolades and the question of why he's not in the Hall of Fame, but that's for another discussion. But Curt Schilling joining us, near and dear to my heart because, you know, he went to Shadow Mountain High School and in Arizona, and you kind of made it big in the big leagues. You eventually got there.
I did. Thank you. It's good to be here, man.
And so tell us what Curt Schilling is doing here at Radio Row.
So about a mile down the street is the National World War II Museum. When it was founded 25 years ago, it's having its 25th anniversary on June 6th this year. I was a founding board member. Military history has always been something I've been passionate about. My dad was served 101st Airborne during Korea. My youngest son is a United States Marine. I have multiple family members. So military history has always been a passion of mine. I'm involved in a small company called Multiman Publishing. We create World War II board game simulations and a lot of other stuff. So yesterday I got to spend 6 hours over there nerding out again. And it's grown by infinite sizes since it was founded. And New Orleans is still recovering. You know, and anybody around here knows that it hasn't. You know, a lot of people know that people that left haven't come back. And this museum is the number one attraction here. It's a huge monetary benefit to the city. So this is a monumental week for the city, and making sure people know that it's here. It is a bucket list thing to see. And if you're coming to New Orleans, I could not recommend enough setting aside a day to make that part of your plan. You can do everything you need to do there, from eating and all the other things, but it's one of the most amazing places ever to see and experience.
And it is starting to get farther and farther away of those that are still connected to World War II.
66,000 veterans left out of 16.5 million. And probably in the last decade of their lives, they're gone. And this is one of the places that's preserving their story. I met a 100-year-old veteran yesterday, just as spry as could be, talking about his era and the things that he did, and they're preserving that history. And I think it's a monumentally important that our generation continues and pushes and passes their legacies on, because if you've looked around, this generation hasn't been educated about it, and I think that's a crime.
Yeah, and so make sure you get there. If you get here, it's near and dear to my heart because my dad, World War II veteran as well in both Germany and Japan. So yeah, get over there. So it's such a noble thing. So let's talk a little baseball. How's your body? How you feeling? How's things?
Well, my body's fine. I don't have to do anything anymore. So I live about 30 minutes south of Nashville, Tennessee. I have an animal rescue that is kind of my dream and my life. And I'm getting back in the game. I want to do either color. We have the Nashville Sounds in Nashville, but I'd like to do color. Pitching, I like to teach. I like to work with kids. And I think I know pitching as well as anybody that's ever lived. And so, that's part of the other reason why we're down here is talking to people and getting involved and getting the word out that I'd love to be back in the game.
And that career that you had, I mean, we could sit here and talk about the bloody sock and what you did for the Red Sox nation, and my hometown of Arizona winning a World Series with you and Randy Johnson being the big stars of that. I mean, do you ever sit back? Are those one or two moments every pop into your head every now and then?
Well, I don't sit back. They do pop into my head every now and then, less and less as I get older because I'm farther away from it. I think that there was a brief period after, I don't know how many years after I retired, where I looked back and kind of appreciated it a little bit because I didn't do it when I played. And I only know that because I've talked to Randy a couple times. And Randy was a guy who had to exist and be a certain way when he played, which might socially not have been the nicest thing in the world, but it was all he knew. And I look back at a lot of people, and I think a lot of I'm not saying I'm a great player, but when I talk to a lot of the greats, a lot of them are like that. They couldn't appreciate the moment because they were so wrapped up in winning the moment. And I spent 10 days in the Middle East on the USO tour with Peyton Manning, and saw a lot of the potential similarities from a preparation perspective between all the greats. And but I people have asked me about memories and stuff, and standing on the mound for Game 7 of the World Series in 2001, going against Clemens. I grew up in Arizona. 9/11, what Clemens meant to my career. I think that's one of the moments I remember as being kind of the first moment where I said, you know what, step off the mound and take a breath and look around, and this is pretty cool. And but when you're playing, you don't have time to do that.
How do you think it would have been for you in this day and age where now everything is cell phone recordings and all that? Like, you can't even breathe without somebody having something in your face.
Well, I've, for all, whatever it is whatever it is for my career. But like, that was in an era when there wasn't social media. Every single fan is a reporter with a camera. And so we've learned in this day and age that things have nothing to do with reality and everything to do with perception. All you need to do is throw a picture out there of, well, I remember the picture of Alex Rodriguez standing next to an elevator with a female. Okay, so, well, apparently that turned into he's sleeping with her, and I mean, just because of the photo. Can you imagine? I can't. I really can't, because
they create those things where Derek Jeter apparently had a gift bag for everybody. I mean, come on.
And
really?
now with AI, no thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you got to be a part of our era, and again, the proud Shadow Mountain graduate.
Thank you.
I mean, that is awesome that you were able to do that. And where can people follow you and see? I know you have a lot of opinions that people care about.
So, I mean, social media wise, I have a Facebook page. It's very clearly me. Katie Layton handles all of my she has for almost 30 years now. She handles my public relations. People in the media can get a hold of me through her. And it will. I think it will be kind of more obvious as we move forward here, and we create more of a presence, a public presence, through whether it be doing color or whether it be coaching for somebody. Those things will start to happen.
Do you hear that, GMs and people? There's a lot of valuable mental stuff going on right here with Mr. Curt Schilling. Final question, because I know you got to go. The way the game has changed, speeding it up, which I think could lead to injuries for pitchers, and the things that we're doing, and we're talking about umpires, being out of the game and letting, a camera call balls and strikes. I mean, it's not the purity of the game anymore. I miss pitchers hitting. I like that National League thing. So, I mean, what do you think of the state of the game?
Well, the speeding up of the game, I think, has been a good thing. But good pitchers never needed the game sped up anyway. Maddox and Mark Burley, and I was another guy. Our games were 2.5 hours because I didn't jerk around. And so the pitch clock only affects pitchers that suck, and that so you don't need to worry about that. But the game has moved away from a lot of the things. I mean, the pitchers were the antagonists and the protagonists, right? It was Clemens and Seaver and Ryan, and that was the story of the night. You were going to get to see these guys compete. That doesn't exist as much anymore, if at all. And pitching has changed so at such a fundamental level so much, and the amount of money invested in pitching, I think, has forced a lot of the changes that I don't think need to be made. But there's a marriage between sabermetrics and old school baseball that you either embrace it and figure out how they work together, or you continue to be on the outside looking in.
You also knew that you weren't going to just pitch 5 games. So what would it mean to you? And it's going to happen. You have the numbers that should be there. What will it mean to you to get into the Hall?
It will be a testament to all the people I've had in my life, and from my father to God to all of the people that coached me and taught me. And I think that recognition is a recognition of all of the luck and all the amazing human beings that were involved in your life to do that.
All right. Amen. Curt Schilling joining us here on Radio Row. I know you got to go. It's been an honor.
Yep. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you.
Years in the making. Thank you so much.
Yep. Take care of yourself.
All right. That's it. Radio Row. Dave Stevens here. We'll be back in a little bit on Erie Stein and Stevens.